I definitely try to avoid doing this, and I would seriously recommend everyone else does the same, because I think it will lead to a happier life. And that is, don't draw negative conclusions with incomplete data. Specifically negative conclusions, as like a general summary. So an example for you, this morning my mum found a piece of glass on the floor, and she saw one of her glasses in the cupboard were missing. Now, the most likely solution that was in front of her that she came up with, she threw out of the window and immediately went to a negative place of, oh, that's so sad, really unfortunate, and then went to quite severe and extreme things of why this glass is broken. The missing glass is now broken. But the most likely thing was that it was just taken upstairs. We have guests staying and they'd probably just taken a glass up with them to bed. Right, that's single most likely event. Now, this is why I try not to worry about things that haven't happened, because if she's right, if it has broken, she's going to worry about this now, then find out that it has actually happened and then be upset about it twice. If it hasn't happened, she's going to be upset about it now, it doesn't happen, and what a waste of being upset. It never served you. And so the worst case is, or actually, and on the flip side, you've got, if you don't worry about it until you find out the data, worst case is you don't worry, you find out it was true, and now you're upset. So you're only been upset for half the time. Or you don't worry about it, you found out it wasn't true, and you're never upset in the first place, right? It's a win-win to do it this way, at least in my opinion. And I wanted to extrapolate this to a business sense, in that I see a lot of people draw incomplete conclusions from incomplete data. So conclusions that don't make sense based on the data that they have, without finding out the other bit of information that would say this is true. I think this might be a limiting like ability or a natural default for people who were not so academic at school or not so logical, that they don't see these steps together. But I would recommend not doing it, because it's not helpful, especially in business. If you're making monetary decisions, have the data in front of you, especially if it's the most likely scenario. Don't jump to conclusions if it's going to be painful for you. So in the scenario we just talked about, that was mostly emotional. But if it's going to be painful financially for the company or a bad business decision, definitely don't act on that, and act on logic rather than emotion in that sense. That's it. Thought it was an interesting one that I'd share. Have a great evening.